We want to thank you very much for joining us from Bergen, Norway. He was the top American diplomat at the UN, number 2 man at the UN in Afghanistan, just fired by the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. His books include The End of Iraq, How American Incompetence Created a War Without End, and also the book Unintended Consequences, How War in Iraq Strengthened America's Enemies. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report, as we turn now to the ousted president of Honduras. Anjali?
Well, we go now to Honduras, where the deposed President Manuel Zelaya remains within the Brazilian embassy in Tegucigalpa, where he's been staying, surrounded by soldiers and riot police since returning to his country 2 weeks ago. It's been nearly 100 days since President Zelaya was ousted by the Honduran military. Meanwhile, the Organization of American States told reporters Friday that representatives of the deposed president and the coup government led by Roberto Micheletti will likely begin talks this week. Micheletti reportedly said he would meet with his cabinet today to consider lifting an emergency decree limiting civil liberties.
Well, for more on Honduras, we're going right now to the Brazilian embassy to speak with the democratically elected leader, the Honduran President Manuel Zelaya. President Zelaya, we welcome you to Democracy Now! Can you explain how you got into the Brazilian embassy and what is happening there now?
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Estoy realmente
I am
dificultades, pero con el espíritu muy fuerte.
Facing great obstacles, but my spirit is strong.
Y el apoyo internacional.
And I have faith in the international support that I'm receiving.
Problema difícil, pero imposible resolver y tengo mucha fe en buscar salir de este problema.
It's a very challenging problem. The connection is not particularly good.
We're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back. Again, we have reached President Zelaya inside the Brazilian embassy in Tegucigalpa in Honduras, where he has been under siege. Honduran soldiers are outside the embassy. There has been tear gas over the period that he has been there, holed up with a number of supporters and also reporters. This is Democracy Now! We'll be back with President Zelaya in a minute.
Sembraré las palabras que mi padre Martín Fierro puso al viento. Cuando tenga la tierra, la tendrán los que luchan, los maestros, los hacheros, los obreros. Cuando tenga la tierra, te lo juro, semilla, que la vida será un dulce racimo y en el mar de la suba nuestros
the great Argentine singer Mercedes Sosa. She died this weekend at the age of 74, considered the voice of Latin America. Her remains lay in state at the National Congress, where thousands of people have lined up to pay their respect to one of the of Argentina's most iconic voices. She was singing Cuando Tenga la Tierra at a concert for peace in Managua in 1983. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Anjali Kamat. On the line with us from inside the Brazilian embassy, we have tried switching lines so we can get a better line, is the ousted President Manuel Zelaya. Speaking to us in Tegucigalpa, how did you get inside the embassy? That is one of the big questions, aside from whether you will be returned to power, that many people are asking President Zelaya.
La primera embajada que visité y de regreso fue la embajada de Brasil. Quedé más o menos
line dead? Is this line dead?
This line is good if you can speak directly into the phone.
Muy bien. La primera embajada que visité fue la embajada de Brasil. Brasil es una gran democracia. El presidente Lula es un gran demócrata y ha manifestado mucho por apoyar, por revertir este proceso de el inicio de los golpes de Estado en América Latina.
I'm concerned that this is starting a process of further coup d'etats throughout Latin America.
President Zelaya, what are you demanding right now?
¿Qué está exigiendo ahora?
Nosotros hemos llamado a diálogo.
We're calling for dialogue.
Las contestaciones del régimen de facto han sido más represión.
But the de facto president has responded by just restricting liberties.
Andres Contreras is next to you in the mission. We'd like to ask if he could try to translate. I'm not sure what's going on with these lines, but we are having difficulty understanding. Andres, if you could translate for the president right there.
I will do that. The President explained that Brazil was the most friendly country, and that is why he came here.
No, you're not speaking. Andres, if you could speak directly into the phone, otherwise we cannot hear you.
The President explained that Brazil is the country that was most friendly, and that is why he came here first to this embassy. And then he talked about the repression that this coup regime has directed against the resistance.
And are you speaking on speakerphone or directly into the phone?
I'm speaking directly into the phone. The President has speakerphone, and we're going to turn that off.
Okay, if you could turn that off, that would be good. I think we could understand you a lot better. And just share the phone. He speaks, and then you speak. Anjali, you had a question for President Zelaya.
Muy bien.
President Zelaya.
Hello.
President Zelaya, if you could talk about whether there are going to be talks between your representatives and representatives of the coup government led by Roberto Micheletti. This is the latest news we've heard from the Organization of American States.
Hay una intermediación de la Organización de Estados Americanos.
The OAS is taking an active role to establish the dialogue.